Vee was a troublemaker growing up and loved exploring, but most of all, she loved playing the drums. She had played since she was little, learning all kinds of styles along the way, but the one she gravitated to the most was modern rock. And by the time she was 18, she only needed to hear a song on the radio once to be able to play it herself. A few years later, she saw a local band perform named Tick and the Kicks. Tick was their vocalist, and the only other member of the band was their guitarist Crit. With no drummer, they were using a beat-up drum machine that they would have to reset between songs. The downtime it took to do this was rough, but when they were actually playing, Tick's gritty vocals and Crit's massive guitar tone was enthralling. Together, they had a scrappy sound that made Vee fall in love with their music, despite the janky drum tracks they played over. Their music would loop over and over again in her head, long after the show ended. As an up-and-coming local band with no funds, they didn't have any records or merch. So Vee's only way to hear their music again was to go to all of their shows. Every time they played, there she was, in the audience, tapping to the beat. And then the day came. The band got their big break. They were asked to open for a much larger band in the area. They were midway through their soundcheck when the drum machine sparked and smoke began to spill from it. It was completely fried and there was no hope of fixing it. And that's when Vee saw her chance. She already knew all their songs and could easily step in for the drum machine. So as the stressed out Tick and Crit were debating what they would do, Vee approached and offered to sit in, pointing out that the house kit was already checked and good to go. They quickly discussed it and decided that they had nothing to lose by letting her play. Ecstatic, Vee took her place behind the drum set, and the set began. Her playing was bold and loud, a perfect match for their music. Her energy behind the drums electrified the crowd, and both Tick and Crit were impressed. The very next day, they asked her to be a permanent member of the band. After a few weeks of practicing together, the group agreed that the band needed a new name. They settled on Axe Kick, based on Vee's suggestion that they keep part of the old name intact. Their next show under the new name wasn't as big, but this time a moderately sized crowd came out specifically to support them. Vee's friend Moss recorded and posted the show for them, and it started going viral online around the world. Eventually, the trio recorded their first EP, and when Vee wasn't recording or rehearsing with the band, she was busy making merch, crafting shirts and patches. After a short while, they could actually scrape together a modest living making music. One day, Tick casually showed the other two a video of some strange and unexplainable events at an old, abandoned opera theater in town. Vee ignored the supernatural content because she was captivated by the look of the rundown building. She couldn't help but see that it would make for the perfect venue, and they definitely needed to play a show there. Tick and Crit took no convincing. The trio agreed, and soon after the gig was booked and posters were hung up around the town. This was going to be epic. The evening before the show was to take place, the band went to inspect the building. The place was old, run down, and dirty. Exactly what they wanted. While exploring, they came across a dressing room, and inside they discovered a number of opera outfits that had been left behind to rot, and some old cassette tapes. On a whim, they grabbed one of the cassettes and stuck it in a nearby tape player that still worked, and hit play while they picked through the costumes. After a second or two of airy static, the eerie sounds of supernatural voices cut through abruptly, filling the room. The bandmates were instantly creeped out, and so they shut off the tape and quickly left the building. Shaking it off as just a weird experience, they turned their focus back to the upcoming show. The next day arrived, and as evening came, the building was packed out with energized fans who'd come out to see them play. Axe Kick took the stage to thunderous applause and excited screams. Vee counted them into the first song of the set, and as they began playing, it was clear that they were playing at their peak and had never sounded better. The crowd roared as Vee began to sweat, playing more and more intensely as she leaned into the music and the energy coming from the audience. But above the cheers, Vee began to hear something else. The same creepy voices from the tape the night before. There's no way, she thought to herself, closing her eyes in an attempt to block it out and focus on the music. That's when she began to notice that the roar of the crowd had begun to fade. The song ended and she opened her eyes. It was difficult to see. Assuming it was just sweat, she reached up to wipe her eyes, but that didn't help. She slowly realized that it was thick, black fog that had entirely enveloped her. There was no crowd. Her bandmates weren't there either. She was completely alone in this dense, empty void. That's when Vee did exactly what Vee does. She got up from her throne, stepped out from behind the drum set, and started exploring, looking for her friends. If you enjoyed this video, a rating down below really does help me out. I want to take a moment to thank our channel members for their support of the channel, and as always, you're awesome, stay awesome, and we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.